What do people already come to you for? Think about it for a second. When friends, colleagues, or family need advice on a specific situation, what is the topic that makes them say, "Let me ask you, because you've actually been through this"? After 50, you carry more knowledge than you probably realize. Hard won lessons, strategic judgment built over decades. But the problem is, most of it feels completely ordinary to you because you've lived with it for years. And you assume everybody else knows it too. Well, they don't. Now, let me be honest from the start. This is not a video about turning a random hobby into passive online income. Not everything you know should become a business. And anyone telling you that every passion is a goldmine isn't being straight with you. The real question isn't just what do you know. The question is whether a specific part of what you know can help another person solve a real pressing problem. That is where a genuine business lives. You don't have to start over from scratch. You just have to look at your life experience through a slightly different lens. Let me show you what I mean with a very concrete example. One that millions of people have lived through, but almost no one thinks of as a business asset. Imagine you spent the last 4 or 5 years managing the care of an aging parent. At the time, you weren't trying to become an expert. You were just trying to survive the week. You learned how to navigate hospital discharge papers, how to evaluate assisted living facilities, how to have difficult family conversations about selling a childhood home, how to manage the sudden bureaucracy of insurance and healthcare. To you, that period felt like an emotional marathon. But now that it's over, you now know things most families only learn under pressure. Right now, someone else is standing at the very beginning of that same road. They just got the phone call from the doctor. They are overwhelmed, guilty, and completely confused. They don't know what to do first. If you try to build a broad business around aging parents, it will likely fail, because it's too big. But look at what happened when you apply a strategic filter. Your audience isn't families. It's the adult child who has suddenly become responsible for a parent who can no longer live independently. Their problem isn't a lack of information. It's a lack of clarity in the middle of urgency. So your business becomes concrete. You create an advisory service or a simple program with a clear promise. I help adult children prepare for the first 90 days after a parent can no longer live independently. You're not selling a generic topic anymore. You're selling a specific outcome to a person who desperately needs a guide who has already walked the path. This same logic applies across completely different areas of life and career. It all comes down to moving from a broad topic to a highly specific problem. Take furniture restoration. A weak business idea is teaching general woodworking online. A stronger idea is helping people restore inherited family furniture without ruining it. The value isn't just the technique, it's protecting a piece of personal history. Or cooking. Instead of another generic cooking channel, you teach people the precise art of hosting a traditional Sunday paella for large family gatherings. You're selling the confidence to host, not just a recipe. Here's another example. We see this with lifestyle transitions too. More people over 50 are seriously wondering what life abroad could look like. A general travel blog about Spain is crowded and hard to monetize, but a business that helps people over 50 understand the logistical, cultural, and financial reality of actually making that move, that's genuinely valuable. Even a corporate career can be distilled this way. If you spend 20 years in corporate operations, you don't need to consult for large companies anymore. You can help solo creative business owners build simple, reliable systems so their business stops living entirely inside their own heads. In every one of those examples, the formula is the same. A broad topic is just raw material. A specific person with real problem is a foundation of a real business. Now, because I want to protect your time and your resources, we need to talk about testing these ideas. Building the wrong business from the right experience is still the wrong business. Before you buy a domain name, build a website, or film a single lesson, run your idea through a practical viability filter. 6 questions. First, who exactly is this for? Can you describe them in one sentence? Not people who like cooking, not professionals in transition. A real person in a real situation. A woman in her 50s who just inherited her grandmother's furniture and has no idea how to restore it without damaging it. If you can't get that specific, the idea isn't focused enough. Second, what specific problem are they trying to solve right now? Not a general frustration, a problem they are actively sitting with today. The kind of problem that keeps them searching online at 11 at night. If you can name that problem in their language, not yours, you're close. Third, does this problem matter enough to them that they are actively looking for a solution? This is the urgency test. A problem someone would like to solve someday is not the same as a problem they need to solve this month. The closer your idea is to the second category, the more viable the business. Fourth, can your experience help them reach a clear, tangible result? Not, I can share useful information, a result, something measurable, something they can point and say, I do not have this before, now I do. If you can't name the result, the offer isn't ready. Fifth, are they willing and able to pay for the result? This is the one people skip, and it's the one that kills the businesses. Enthusiasm is not the same as willingness to pay. The best signal here is whether similar solutions already exist at the price point. If they do, there is a market. If nobody is charging for anything in this space, that is worth understanding before you invest. And sixth, do you know how to reach them consistently? Where do these people already spend their time? What do they search for? What communities are they in? If you can answer this clearly, you have a distribution strategy. If you cannot, you have a product with no path to a consumer. If you can answer all 6 with real specificity, you likely have something worth building. If 2 or 3 feel vague, that's useful too. It tells you exactly where the work is before you build anything. This filter isn't here to discourage you. It's here to make sure that when you do invest your energy, it actually yields a return. When you do have clarity on the person and the problem, the business architecture is simpler than most people expect. You don't need a complicated machine. You need 3 things: attention, trust, and an offer. YouTube builds the attention. Every video you make is a permanent asset. Someone searching for your subject 6 months from now finds that video. They watch another one. They begin to trust you before they have ever spoken to you. From there, you invite people into an email newsletter. That is where the relationship deepens, away from algorithms, on your terms. And inside that newsletter, you make your offer. Notice we still haven't talked about whether to build a course or write an ebook. That's deliberate. The format of your business should always come after you understand the problem you're solving. Once you know the result you're delivering, you choose how to package it. It could be a live weekend workshop, private one-on-one advisory sessions, a small group program that runs for 6 or 8 weeks, a structured consulting package. The format matters less than the outcome. Start with the person, identify the problem, define the result, then choose the vehicle that delivers it best. If this conversation made you wonder whether there's a real business hidden inside what you already know, I put together something to help you take the next step. It's a free guide. How people over 50 turn what they know into income, freedom, and impact. It walks you through 10 specific steps to look at your career and life experience differently, to identify where your real market value lives and begin to see what kind of business could naturally come from it. It is simply a practical workbook. The link is in the description below. The next chapter of your professional life doesn't require you to reinvent yourself or start over from the bottom. It might simply begin by recognizing the value of what you already know. If this resonated, watch this other video next, where I talk about why retirement is a 20th century relic. It picks up exactly where this conversation leaves off.